I approach the entrance to this park. The one thing I do love about this resort is that the parks are literally a stone's throw away from each other, and they're also connected by the Hogwarts Express train ride. So, one thing to remember when you're buying your tickets, make sure that you've got a park hopper ticket, because you won't be able to jump from park to park on the Hogwarts Express without one. Nice little touch at the park entrance here. You can see all the rides that are available at Islands of Adventure with a little line showing the marker of the height restriction, so you can get the kids all measured up before you go in the park. Park ticket scanned and we're on our way. So, we've come out a little bit later this morning just to avoid a few queues. Oh, there you go, the adventure begins. Yes, so I just love this entrance as we come into the park. It just gets you all buzzed up and ready to, you know, rock for the day. The theming, well, as you can see, Universal do it their way, and they do it very well. Obviously, of course, you've got the Disney parks that are in the area as well, and we just know that the theming around these parks is just out of this world. There's no place like it. It's just fantastic. Christmas shop just there on your right. Brilliant. By decoration there. We do nearly every time that we come to Florida. We've got a few of them on our trees, dating back probably to around about 2014. And they call this area the port of entry. And as you can see, as we approach this little tunnel here, just above that you can see the first attraction that you come in to as you enter the park, and it is the incredible Hulk coaster. So yes, of course, we're going to give you a few rides on that one and give you a bit of a honest review from ourselves, but yeah. Oh, there he is, the green monster coming over the Cobra loop and into the vertical loop. Oh, can't wait to get back on. It's been too long, well, too long I say October, but yeah, okay, let's get back on. The park itself now, as you can see, gives you two options. So in front of you there, you can see that little stage set up there. You can either go left or you can go right, depending on what you want to do. But don't worry, the park goes in a complete loop of itself, so you'll always end up back where you started. But we always go left. The incredible Hulk coaster, yeah baby. The first inversion on the Hulk comes immediately after the uphill tunnel launch, where you're propelled approximately 40 miles per hour. You then drop down into the Cobra roll and immediately into the ride's tallest vertical loop. Then you get a great head-chopper moment as you dive into and out of the tunnel. Banked helix to the left leads you into a corkscrew right over the ride's entrance, and then you experience the final vertical loop of the ride itself. You'll then hit a brake run, drop down into the final corkscrew before being led back into the station. The ride is intense from start to finish, it's got to be said, but for me, this ride's a lot better at the back row. You just get a sustained launch when you come through that tunnel into the first inversion, and snappier transitions. Well, me and Mrs. H have just had a few back-to-back rides on the incredible Hulk coaster. Awesome. But now we're going to walk through Superhero Island and just give you a little bit of an idea how colourful this place is. Everything around you is just so vivid. It's like as if you're immersed in a Marvel cartoon. Look how cool that Wolverine is on the side of the building. His claws come out onto the pavement. As we swing around the corner here, I'm just going to give you a little sight-in of a ride that I will definitely not be partaking in during this trip. Let it be known, I do not like rides that shoot you up, drop you down, or swing you around. I just get that horrible feeling in my belly. It's very uncomfortable. Mrs. H, on the other hand, she has no problem riding this type of ride. So as you can see in front of us here, we have Dr. Doom's Fearfall. Bit of a strange name considering it shoots you up rather than dropping you down. But there you go. hopefully see one going up now. There it is, shooting up into the Florida sunshine. Nah, sorry, not for me. Looks like a few characters have come out to visit. Oh, they look like baddies. No, not superheroes. They're the nasty ones, they are. Looks like Dr. Doom and the Green Goblin. Yeah, I better get out of this area before Mrs. H starts trying to drag me on the ride. Yeah, I think I better get out onto the main street. I've got to say, that Wolverine's very impressive in front of us there.
They would like it.
There really is a lot here to tickle your senses, both visually and audibly. It is such a good area to walk around. I probably could walk around here about 100 times and I'd still miss the little intricacies that it has to offer. So here we are, we've just arrived at our destination, the amazing adventures of Spider-Man. Not too much of a queue here at the moment, so let's get on and give it a go. So we just had our ride on Spidey, and before I go into detail, just wanted to show you the greatest manual cover in the world. Right, I've literally just taken my 3D glasses off after my ride on Spider-Man, and Mrs. H turns round to me and she says, "Which one do you like best, Spider-Man or Transformers?" And I said, "You know that I favour Spider-Man over Transformers. It's you that likes Transformers, not me." So I asked her to appear on camera and just explain to me why she likes Transformers over Spider-Man, and she refused. Gotta say though, spotting Mrs. H on camera is like spotting Stan Lee's cameo appearance in any of his Marvel movies. Oh, just while we're here now, Captain America in front of us, I just want to point out this diner here on the right hand side. There's some cracking food in there, and to be honest, quite cheap as well. This comic shop is worth a look as well, you know, sell some good merch in there, like, so yeah, if you get a chance, pop in and have a look in there as well. I really do like Superhero Island, all the characters are out. You got, oh there you go, look, Captain America's out today as well. Yeah, so it's really colourful and overall a fantastic walkthrough for the kids and all the family. We'll get a nice screen now. So, me and Mrs. H just took a pew now, had a 10-15 minute period, just sat down watching the world go by, enjoying our salted caramel ice creams, and we've now moved over into Toon Lagoon. Now, it's not called Toon Lagoon for any other reason. Sounds like there's going to be water here. Yes, of course. Believe me, if you take a ride on either of these water rides in this area of the park, you are going to get wet. Absolutely drenched. Just in front of us here is a nice statue of Popeye the Sailor Man. So if we walk up this pathway here now, we're going to get some cracking shots of people getting soaking wet on Popeye and Pluto's bilge rat barges. This is going to be fun. if you want more wet, there's Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. So, while we're on the subject of water rides, I just want to tell you this funny story of what happened to us in 2014. So we walk around this part of the park and we see Jurassic River Adventure. So we're like, yeah, come on, let's have a go at this. So we're all thinking, oh, there you are, it's nice weather, we'll have a little nice boat ride, see some dinosaurs. What we didn't actually see was the bit that said, you will get wet. And this happens. So in between Toon Lagoon and Jurassic World is Skull Island, where you will find Reign of Kong. Now this used to be a 3D trackless ride. They've decided to remove the 3D element, so me and Mrs H have just got off the ride, and I've got to say, it's as poor as ever. The ride is situated in just a dull area of the park that they could have expanded the Jurassic World area into. And for me, if there are big queues for this ride, then we just walk past. I put it on a par with Fast and Furious at Universal Studios. It just really isn't that good, and you're better off wasting time in a queue for a ride on one of the other attractions. So me and Mrs H have just run out to Skull Island to get to Jurassic World as quick as we could so that we can experience the real star of the show at Islands of Adventure. Jurassic World Velocicoaster. Oh yeah, baby. The Velocicoaster is Mrs H's all-time favourite ride, and in fairness, it's not difficult to understand why. This is a world-class roller coaster. Simple as world-class. Although Velocicoaster is not my favourite Florida coaster, we'll get to that later in the trip. It is definitely in my top 3. The ride is down at the moment, they are testing, so yeah, hopefully we can get a few rides on there, and Mrs H can get that smile and grin on her face that she does so every time she comes off this ride. I really do love the colour scheme of this ride, and also everything about it. As soon as you see that entrance and beyond the entrance in the queue line, every single element of the queue line is there to immerse you within the ride itself. Unfortunately, we can't take on-ride footage, so we'll try and get as much footage as we can off-ride. But yeah, look at that entrance. You know what? There's no better view in this park looking across the lake at Velocicoaster's top hat. Bloody awesome. Just come down here now behind Popeye so I can give you a really good view of the Heartline Row, also known as the Mosasaurus Row, right over the lake. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so me and Mrs H have just completed 3 back-to-back rides on Velocicoaster, and I cannot tell you how big the smile is on her face. And it's easy to understand why she likes this coaster so much. The first section of the ride itself darts you in and out of these rocks, a couple of inversions, and then it builds and builds and builds until it reaches that second launch where it hits you up to 70 mile an hour and then up over the top hat. It's fantastic. For me, the second half of the ride is exceptional. It just keeps giving and giving. You experience far more airtime in the second half, and of course you've got that stall and the Mosasaurus Row that will put smiles on faces for years to come. It is a shame though that we can't actually get point of view footage from the ride, but of course you could visit Universal's website or YouTube channel and have a look at that if you wanted to. but I thought I'd get as many off-ride shots as I could for you, just so you can get a full experience of what this ride is all about. I'm 100% in my top 3 of Florida roller coasters. After a little bit of rest and a little bit of food, we've recharged our batteries a little, and now we're at the Lost Continent. I got mixed feelings about this area of the park, if I'm being totally honest, because for me it doesn't really offer much. There is a world-class restaurant here, Mythos, as you can see, just in front of us here, with the waterfalls coming out of the rocks of that guy's mouth up there. Don't really know who these people are, but you know, is what it is. It did have one attraction, but that attraction is now closed, so it'd be really interesting to see what happens in this area of the park in the coming years. When we were here in October, we managed to be one of the last people really to experience Poseidon's Fury, which is now defunct, but yet everything still sits in place, you know. I'll just give you a walk around by here now, and we'll have a look at the size and scale of this attraction. Yeah, it was an interesting ride. Well, I say ride, more of a walk-through experience really, with live actors, etc. But it's been here for a long time, and as you can see, looking at the structure and the space that they have here, I'm sure that in the near future, probably after Universal have completed Epic Universe, will they likely get down to doing something with this area. But as I said, the Lost Continent to me now is part of the park that is out of date, really needs a bit of renovation, because all we've got here is a couple of eateries, some toilets, and a walkthrough really directly to Harry Potter's Hogsmeade. So I wouldn't be too surprised if in the near future that this would either become an expansion of Jurassic World, or possibly another addition to the Harry Potter franchise of the park, or even a reimagination of the actual area itself and bring in something new to the park. But for me, as you can see, there is quite a lot of footfall within this area, but I'd say 90% of that footfall is just directly walking towards Hogsmeade. There are shops that you can look in and have a look for some merchandise, etc. And as I said, there are places where you can pick up drinks, food, etc. and toilets are available. However, it is pretty when you walk through here. It kind of gives off a bit of a Moroccan theme, and it does have a lot for you to feast your eyes on. Maybe in the future we'll see some development here, but for now, obviously, it is what it is. And as you exit the Lost Continent, you come across Hogsmeade Station, which is where you can catch the Hogwarts Express over to King's Cross at Universal Studios. Just remember, you must have that park hopper ticket, otherwise you will not be able to transfer with this attraction. So here we are, entering Hogsmeade. When we came here back in 2014 with our daughter, this place was just fantastic. That sign above the arch there where it says respect the spell limit just gives you that air and that feel for Harry Potter as soon as you walk under it. The Hogwarts Express didn't exist when we were here in 2014, and that was all that we saw of the train itself. But just look at this place. It's just incredible as to how well they've captured all the elements, the feeling, the emotion of the Harry Potter world. It's phenomenal. Of course, it's always the busiest area of Islands of Adventure here at Hogsmeade, But for me, every time I just come here, even though I've seen it in all different angles, every single area of Hogsmeade I've explored, it really does get me quite excited, and especially now that they have Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Let's give it a go. So we queued about 45 minutes to get on Hagrid, which wasn't too bad, to be honest. Yeah, after a reported $300 million investment in a ride, then you'd expect it to be good. And it is exactly that. Fantastically good. Definitely one of the longest ride experiences that you're going to have here at Islands of Adventure. And in fairness, there's surprises at every corner. Multiple launches. I think it holds the world record for the amount of launches that there is in a single coaster. So yeah, not going to say too much because that would spoil the surprise for yourself. But what I will say is that if you get the chance, then come and ride Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It's worth the admission fee alone. Just coming up to Ollivander's here on the right, where you can go in and get suited for your wand. Talking about the wands, they are excellent, especially for the children. The interaction that they have around the areas where the kids can, like, you know, carry out the spells at the windows and make things move inside the buildings. It's just so clever. Really adds to the immersive feel of what they've achieved here with the Wizarding World. And there it is, first view of Hogwarts Castle on this trip. Quite impressive how they've managed to build this. Never ceases to amaze me. You can hear the frog chorus in the distance. Just a little observation here. How come there's no snow on the top of Hogwarts Castle? There's loads in Hogsmeade.
Welcome you out. Lockers are going to be on the far left, all the way down.
Thank you, kind sir. Just a reminder that all belongings have to go into a locker here at Islands of Adventure. Like the Hippogriff to my right here. Get some absolutely crazy queues for this attraction. I ain't gonna queue for it though. Neither will Mrs. H, to be fair. So let's chuck our stuff in a locker and get on Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey dark ride. Another that you have to see to believe.
Hi there. Welcome to Seuss Landing.
So this is Seuss Landing. Great area of the park for the younger people of our families. As you can see around, it's so colourful. Everything here is based on the writings of Dr. Seuss, obviously famous for The Cat in the Hat amongst other things. So if you make a right turn after the port of entry, this is the area of the park that you will come across first. So if you do have young children with you, it might be a good idea to turn right and then enter this part of the park before the young ones start to get a little worn out throughout the day. It's bright and colourful, and there's loads of little things around that you can just feast your eyes upon. If I had small children again, yeah, I'd definitely be bringing them here. Me and Mrs. H will just have to wait until the grandkids come along. I do like these little odes to Dr. Seuss though around the park. Just adds that little bit of, you know, adult stop, have a read kind of thing. You know, he wasn't even a doctor. Don't know why he called himself a doctor. Shouldn't be allowed, man. Okay, so Mrs. H, the reader in the family, has just informed me that his last name wasn't even Zeus. Who figured? Gotta say, one thing that does make me smile, if you go into the merch shops here in Seuss Landing, you will be able to buy the Thing t-shirt, and I guarantee you, when you're walking around Islands of Adventure, you will see absolutely loads of them. So, me and Mrs. H now, we're going to make a U-turn now and head back up to the Hogwarts Express. We're going to catch that over to Universal Studios and wrap up this vlog of Islands of Adventure.